Get comfortable, and let me take you on a journey with the forest's lost melodies. In the heart of the spooky forest, where trees wore cloaks of moss and the sunlight danced in emerald glades, lived a little sprout named Clover. Clover wasn't just any sprout. They were a forest sprout, with leaves as green as summer grass and a heart full of sunshine. Every morning, Clover would wake up as the sun tickled their leaves, and a new flower would bloom on top of their head. One day it was a sunshine yellow daisy. "Oh, what a lovely day to dance," Clover would exclaim with a giggle, their voice like the rustling of leaves in a gentle breeze. They loved to dance and sing, their movements as graceful as the wind. Clover would sway and twirl, creating little melodies that echoed through the forest. The forest was always filled with the sounds of life. The buzzing of busy bees, the chirping of cheerful crickets, the gentle murmur of the stream. But today, something was different. An unusual silence had fallen over the spooky forest. The bees were silent, the crickets were still, and even the stream seemed to hold its breath. Clover stopped dancing, their green face wrinkled in confusion. "Why is it so quiet?" Clover wondered aloud, their voice barely a whisper. They peeked at their reflection in a dewdrop on a nearby leaf, the yellow daisy on their head drooping a little. The usual happy perfume they made when pleased smelled like a faint fragrance that was barely noticeable. Suddenly, a little girl with bright eyes and a smile as warm as the sun stepped into the forest. It was Ditya, and she loved music and nature more than anything. She skipped along the path, her footsteps soft on the mossy ground. Ditya had heard tales of the spooky forest, but she wasn't scared. She was curious. She heard the unsettling quiet and became sad. What happened here? She wondered, looking around with her arms crossed and head tilted to the side. Ditya hummed a little tune, as if trying to coax the sounds back. Clover, seeing the girl, peeked from behind a large mushroom. Ditya seemed to be trying to bring the music back. She was a human, something Clover had never seen before. The little sprout, being curious as always, decided to say hello. "Hello," Clover chirped. Ditya jumped slightly, surprised. She looked around, and her eyes landed on the green sprout. "Oh my, you can talk!" she exclaimed. "Of course I can," Clover said proudly. "And I can dance, and I create perfumes, and I can even grow a new flower every day." Ditya's eyes sparkled. "My name is Ditya, and I love music and dancing," she said with excitement. Clover, whose leaves always glowed softly in the dark, felt a spark of happiness. "I'm Clover, and I love music too. But something is wrong. The forest is quiet." Ditya's brows furrowed. "Maybe we can help. I do not like silence," Ditya declared. Together, the sprout and the girls started their search. They decided to find out why the forest was silent. They walked through the trees, Clover's leaves glowing softly, and Ditya humming a playful tune. They passed grumpy badgers, who usually grumbled but were quiet, looking sad. They saw playful squirrels, who usually chattered, sitting still with their ears drooping, not even looking for nuts. Even the stream seemed to have stopped singing its gentle song. Then, a path appeared, shimmering with an eerie light. "What is that?" Ditya whispered. "I've never seen anything like it," Clover exclaimed, their leaves swaying nervously. "Maybe it leads to the reason the forest is quiet," Ditya suggested, taking a step closer. As they stepped onto the path, a strange sensation washed over them. The air grew thick, and the path began to change. The glowing colors swirled, creating illusions all around them. Clover felt a little frightened, but Ditya, remembering the strength of her love for music, started to tap her foot, and a gentle rhythm began to fill the air. "Let's sing," she encouraged Clover, and together, they started to make music. Clover began to sing a sweet melody. As they sang, the path seemed to calm. The illusions faded, and the air became clearer. "We must go on," Ditya cheered. They kept walking on the path. They knew whatever they were heading towards, they would face it together. Ditya, because she had so much love for music, even for a 4-year-old, it made her brave. She was also filled with curiosity, another trait that would help her on their quest. Clover, with their leaves glowing brighter, knew they would face whatever was ahead. They took steps forward, united in their quest. And Clover felt a familiar feeling, a feeling of happiness. The perfume they created filled the air with a sweet fragrance. They were close to the heart of the problem, they could feel it. Finally, they reached a dark, shadowy cave. At the entrance, they saw that a large, dark cloud was blocking the sunlight, and the source of the quietness became clear. The cloud was absorbing all the sound, turning it into a dark, silent bubble. Inside the cave, a gloomy creature sat. "That is where all the sounds are going," Ditya exclaimed, pointing at the dark creature. "We need to do something." Clover was starting to get scared, but Ditya, remembering the joy that music brings, closed her eyes and began to sing a joyful song. Clover, remembering the joy of dancing, began to twirl and create a vibrant melody. The music and the dance filled the cave, spreading its magic. The dark cloud trembled, then began to break apart. The creature, surprised by the music, started to weep. The sounds of the forest, once trapped, began to burst forth, filling the air. The buzzing of the bees, the chirping of the crickets, the murmur of the stream, all were back. The forest was alive with music once more. The cloud was gone, and sunshine bathed the forest in its golden light. The creature smiled. Ditya and Clover hugged and danced together, their hearts filled with joy. The flower on top of Clover's head suddenly changed to a bright blue daisy. Ditya clapped her hands and danced. "We did it!" she cried. As the sun began to set, Ditya's parents called her. "I have to go. But I am so happy to have met you, Clover," she said. Clover felt sad, but knew that Ditya had to return home. "Come back and play music with me again soon," Clover said. Ditya gave one last wave before she ran off, the sounds of the forest following her. The forest, once quiet, now sang its joyful song. Clover, feeling a deep sense of happiness and satisfaction, realized that even the smallest sprout can make a big difference, especially with the help of a friend. The world was full of sounds and music, and Clover knew they would never be alone again. The happy perfume came back, stronger than ever, and Clover the forest sprout danced with joy, knowing that their friendship had brought the forest back to life. Let's see what a great listener you are. Can you answer the following question? What made the forest quiet, and how did Ditya and Clover solve the problem? Let's see how you did. The answer is, a dark cloud took all the sounds. Ditya and Clover brought the sounds back with music and dance. You did a great job. I really enjoyed reading this story to you today. I hope you had fun too.